No dogs were injured in the making of that music video. Those are just stock images. Paloma's personal dogs are very hard to get a read on because, like her address, she hides where
That's right.
she lives.
They're probably all stock images too.
How the dogs are maintained, which is very sad.
Yes, and also it's that made a mistake on the artist's name. It's that DJ Fat Gut.
Yeah, I want to clarify that.
It's DJ Fat Gut for fraud, not Fat Guy for fraud. Made a little mistake.
I made the mistake. That was me. That was all me. I said Fat Guy because I misread my notes, but I want to make sure to give proper credit to DJ Fat Gut for fraud. It's Fat Gut. So tonight, let me just kick things off by saying welcome to A Mexican Crossing Lines with your hosts, Cindy Gomez-Schempp.
And Duke Gomez-Schempp.
You're listening to 88.1 FM KPPPLP Fargo Moorhead, where we are adding local color to your airwaves. Tonight, I have an update on a court proceeding that took place today. Today, there was a court proceeding for a restraining order against Paloma Zuniga, against Paloma for Trump, against Pendeja for fraud, and it was granted. It was granted. So I'm going to tell you what I can about it. I'm going to give you details from various perspectives. So I've talked to people that knew about the court date, that heard about the court date, that were at the court date, that went to the court date, that talked to people that went to the court date. And so I got all the skinny for you so that you can know what happened today. But the most important that you need to know, the first and most important thing that you need to know is that yet another court order was granted against Paloma. If you don't know how they work, I'm about to explain it. But first, I want to thank each and every person that sends me information, that gives me updates so I can do these reports. And of course, since the last couple of videos that I have listened to of this Paloma Zuniga, which she makes publicly available on her social media for everyone to hear, she really hates it when I do super chats and people donate to our very legitimate nonprofit organization doing news reporting and investigative journalism. So, of course, I am doing a super chat.
Yep.
Because I know that what really is at the heart of her anger is something that she said in court today about my show and about my reporting, which is that people have seen her for what she is and are not following her anymore. Well, she left out the part where she said that my reporting has let people see her for what she is, but she claimed in court that my shows have cost her a lot, including most of her followers. She does a lot of videos saying she don't care about the followers. She doesn't care about that. But in court today, she went in there and she told them that people aren't donating. People aren't following her. And it makes her angry that they're listening, following, and donating to this investigative journalist. And of course, to my amazing producer, Duke Gomez-Schempp.
Well, thank you.
My
thank you.
friend, my partner. Because and Nemo, I can't leave Nemo out because Nemo's always been here helping us. A lot of the video editing, the monitoring that happens on our shows, all of that is done here in my family. Together we do this work. But of course I couldn't do this without all the updates from you, the screenshots. I mean, there are pages, there are fake accounts this woman's created. There are pages that she posts on. There are places that she comments on that I didn't even know existed. And if it weren't for you all out there who are so vigilant to catch every little detail, I wouldn't have it. And I've got some doozies for you tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I have some doozies for you tonight. So thanks to all of you. Thanks for your support. Duke, how can people follow our pages?
Oh, you can do it many ways. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. YouTube at Duke1517. That's our YouTube channel. We also do live streaming on our Facebook page at 88.1 FM Fargo Moorhead. At the People's Press Project and Mexi-Can, those are our other pages. You can find Cindy's public page by searching for @Cindy Gomez-Schempp. We have a website, kpppfm.com. We put our shows on there. We embed the live streams from YouTube. And then sometimes we do audio files. Sometimes we edit them down. Sometimes they're difficult. Too many swear words. We can't put it on the air. Sometimes it's just too overwhelming for me to go through those live streams and produce a radio show to produce locally here. But we run a radio station in Fargo Moorhead. We're on the air 24 hours a day. Mexican Crossing Lines is one of the Starship programs. We have many others too. If you're ever in a Fargo Moorhead community, tune to 88.1. We also have a Twitter account @media_PPP. When you go to kpppfm.com, you can also support our nonprofit directly at our donate page. Is kpppfm.com/donate. If you want to do old-fashioned email with those attachments and the information you want to send, you can send it to Cindy at kpppfm.com or me, Duke, at kpppfm.com. So, we're a little bit behind of putting shows up on our webpage. I usually get that done on the weekend, but the weekend got away from us. And I'll try to get that done this week. When you go to that page, just have a look and enjoy the show tonight, everybody.
Okay, for those of you lay people out there that don't understand how restraining orders work, I'm going to give you a little quick primer, okay?
All right.
First of all, what you do is you file for a restraining order and you present the information and you say, I would like to have a restraining order granted because I do not feel safe because of these reasons. And you present the information, right? In my experience as a paralegal and from what I have heard from judges and from lawyers, the majority of the time, the judge will err in favor of granting the restraining order upon first blush. Why? Because they don't want to make a mistake. They don't want to get it wrong and then have a person that claimed that their life was in danger turn up dead.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to make that kind of a mistake. And this really bothers a lot of people who are on the receiving end of restraining orders because many of them, they feel, are meritless. So the general public, John Q. public out there, may have very bad experiences with restraining orders because somebody managed to get a temporary restraining order against them and they don't feel that it was merited. But let me explain why that is. The judge doesn't want to make a mistake, so he usually grants those. But then a hearing date is set to grant ongoing restraining order to make it for longer than the 1 or 2 or 3 weeks that it takes to get you into the court, so that you can now sit in front of the judge and make your case as to why this should be granted. So here's the flip side of the restraining order world. Once you get into the court after the initial restraining order is granted, which I told you most of them are because the judges don't want to make a mistake, then the statistic goes the other way. Once you get into the court and you have to present evidence, the ongoing restraining order for more than, the first few weeks when they schedule the initial hearing is not granted. In those cases, the threshold of evidence that you have to show, you basically have to meet a burden that proves to the judge that you really do have a threat, that there is physical evidence that shows that the person that you claim is a danger to you is unhinged, is a threat to you or your family members, and that they would do something to harm you, but for the fact that a judge has ordered them not to. And the reason why that the restraining order is issued is because the judge has to evaluate whether or not they're going to put a legal enjoiner on somebody, whether they're going to put a legal, basically a red flag on a human being, such that when that person violates the order, there can be a bigger penalty, right? There can be a penalty such like a fine or even imprisonment for failing to follow the judge's order. In this case, Mary had a restraining order on Paloma that was granted weeks ago. You may have heard Paloma doing rant videos in which she talked about how she was going to get taken to court and it was coming up very soon. She was very mad about it and she was making threats at the people that had taken her to court. To the people that are taking me to court, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Mm-hmm. Okay, so she was doing all of this in anticipation of that court date when both of them were going to have to go before the judge and Mary Tando Quintanilla was going to have to make her case and show her evidence and bring her witnesses and say, hey, judge, this is the basis for my request. And what did the judge determine today? The judge determined there was enough evidence to grant her that order. So, court date, this is the disposition that was put on the docket, basically, that the court granted the reissuance. Reissuance means it's not it's a continuation of that order for 4 months. Okay? So, this is a win for Mary Tando Quintanilla and to all of the victims out there. Because as you have heard, as you probably know, this woman has multiple restraining orders out for her in multiple states. Her MO is to go and stalk people, as I've shown you on my shows, to harass and threaten people to the point where they do not feel safe, and then she goes and gets restraining orders out against them first when she has crossed that line, when she has stalked and harassed and threatened someone to the point where she has crossed a line of criminal harassment, of threatening, of scaring people to death. Then she goes and runs and gets a restraining order against them before they have a chance to do it to her, so that she can call herself the victim. And guess what, folks? That's exactly what she did in Mary's case. This court granted this restraining order, and immediately after that, Paloma gave Mary her restraining order that was granted, and for which a hearing date, like the one that Mary had today, will be set in the future. So the date that she has to go in and prove her case against Mary hasn't happened yet. And that's the reason why the restraining order has been initially granted, because the judge has no idea whether or not it's true, but he's probably gonna, give her the benefit of the doubt until they come before him in court. It's gonna be very interesting on that day. But this is what Paloma Zuniga, aka Paloma for Trump, has been telling the world. She has been telling the world that, guess what? All of those people taking out restraining orders on her, all of those people, they have a variety of reasons for what they are doing. Sometimes she tells you that the reasons is because they're jealous of her celebrity and her success. Sometimes she will tell you that the reasons that they are doing this is because they're in love with her and they can't take the fact that she doesn't want them anymore, or that they're jealous of her friends and their relationships. I mean, she's all over the place with the reasons for why so many people have had to take a restraining order out on her. But the one thing she doesn't want you to believe, the one thing she doesn't want you to think, is that this slew of restraining orders could be a result of her own behavior, of her own criminal behavior, harassment, threats. She doesn't tell you that the reason why the restraining orders are granted in so many of these cases is because the judges find evidence of her mental instability and her harassing and threatening behavior. Otherwise, they wouldn't grant them, and they certainly wouldn't reissue them as they did in Mary Tando's case. So she lies about that and tells you that, in fact, even though you can look up for yourself how many of these restraining orders have been granted in different states, she says in court today, there are no restraining orders against her. She lied to the judge and said, no, I'm not a serial vexating litigator. I'm not a person that retaliates against people that I threaten and harass by taking out restraining orders against them. I'm not a person that has any restraining orders taken out against me. She pretended like she didn't know nothing about that, and she said, nope. Lied right to the judge's face. She can lie with such confidence and ease. But then the judge started writing down the names of the people that Mary Tando told him have restraining orders against her, or have had the court dismiss restraining orders because she has been discovered by the court to be a serial litigator, which uses the court system and the restraining orders as a form of threatening, as a form of harassment, like she did in the case of Pablo, the man that claimed that she had extorted $20,000 from him over a period of time. They had a John to prostitute-like relationship described by many of the people that were familiar with her being with men in exchange for goods and for money. Like Mary Tando told us, Mary Tando and many other witnesses have come on my show, including Pablo, and I've shown you the court documents. So today, Mary Tando also brought up these statements and the dismissal of a court case against Pablo for serial litigation. So the judge was not only able to verify that Paloma is a liar, he was able to verify that she is a serial litigator. Interestingly, she posted on her own page that people were butthurt about the fact that she's been stalking them.
Oh, boy.
And she posted a butthurt report yesterday. This is just yesterday, the day before she is going to court. She posts this report and she projects onto Mary Tando Quintanilla, the person that she has been harassing, all of these negative things that she checked and that she wrote.
Wow.
Including the fact that Mary is a stalker.
Wow.
And let me just tell you that she actually accused Mary in court today of being the harasser and the stalker and the person obsessed with her. Fortunately, everyone, including the judge, was able to see through her lies.
Yeah.
Here she is making threats before the court date, which was today. This one is in Spanish, saying that Monday she was going to take all of the information that she had about people directly to the immigration offices. I'm going to take this information into the immigration. She claims that she has all of this power.
Yeah.
And in this video that she did right before she went to court, making threats, making her excuses and explanations for why she has to go to court once again. And she talked about taking all of these people to INS. Here she is talking about INS, taking stuff to the INS office in this video.
And I'm not going to stay quiet like I did last year. If you keep coming after me, I'm going to fight back. And we all know that Anthony running for Pedro, his real name is Pedro. He just uses Anthony for, pondering purposes to the white conservatives in America. But his real name is Pedro. He was born in Ciudad Juarez. He's not even a natural born citizen. We all know you're behind it. Oscar, deported felon who lives in Tijuana. Tomorrow I will be busy. I don't know if I'll have time, but all those shows are going directly to the INS. She has admitted over and over and over that you guys are collaborating, that you guys are working together, that you guys are friends. I have pictures of you three. I'm going to personally walk them into the offices of the INS. So
when she says that she's going to do this and she's going to do that, she's not doing squat. She doesn't do jack squat. She doesn't carry out half of the threats that she makes in her videos. In fact, at the end of this very same video, she also says, you know what? Remember how she was threatening our station constantly, and she was telling people, we're making reports, we're doing investigations, we're doing this, we're doing that. Never happened. None of it ever happened, right?
Right.
At the end of this video, she admits that. She never made any kind of complaint to the FCC. But what if we actually did it now? Now, what if she actually does it now? Like, well, I mean, I guess anything's possible. Flying monkeys.
Yeah.
Who knows? Anything is possible. But I'm going to put my bet on you're too lazy and incompetent to do any of those things. And all she seems to really have time for is stalking and harassing people. I mean, what other skill sets has this woman shown herself to have? She can't even speak in complete sentences in proper English. There's absolutely no way that she would be able to carry that out. But what she's very, very good at is lying and threatening. That she is an expert at doing. Now, another thing that happened today in court is that, as usual, she wants to make herself out to be the victim. In fact, she was posting even prior to going to court that she was going to have to wear protective gear because somebody was going to hurt her. And her obsessed stalkers are forcing her to go to court. Nobody forces Paloma Zuniga to go to respect law and order and respect the court system. Nobody has been able to make her do it up until this point, and I'm sure that nobody is going to make her do it going forward. And since I know that this woman has zero regard, zero respect for our courts, for our laws, for our institution of voting, for anything having to do with law and order, I guarantee you that the most likely outcome is that she's not going to go to court again. With Mary Tando or with anybody else, because she just got a wake-up call. She was stupid enough to think she was going to go into court. This one's close by. And she thought, Mary is not very adept at social media. Thank you very much, Stephanie.
Thank you,
She's
Stephanie.
Nuts. It is a good day. Stephanie, you do not know how good of a day it is. God is good, and God is always good. When Mary told me about this, and I did mention that other people had court cases coming up, that, the wheels of justice or moving forward. When I told you guys all about that, I didn't get into too much detail, but I will tell you what I said to Mary, because she was very worried about whether or not she was going to be able to have time to gather all of the information prior to getting to her court date. And she is not a person that thinks of herself as being a tech whiz. She was always very nervous, even when I first asked her to allow herself to be interviewed about her experiences with Paloma and what she knew about Paloma, because she didn't know whether she was going to be able to set it up and get the right sound or the right lighting. And it was a little difficult. I'm not going to lie. It was a little bit difficult for her. And she also was a little reticent. She didn't feel like she would be the best advocate or spokesperson. She thought maybe other people would do a better job. And you know, she was also feeling that way about her court case in terms of being able to gather all of the information and present it well in court. And I told her this. I said, Mary, just remember you are in the hands of God, and God is always good. God is always good. And so no matter what the outcome of this is, I am sure that God is going to make sure that it does what it needs to do in your life, and that you're going to walk out of the situation in a better place with a better understanding. So just, let it go and be calm. And if this is what happens when Mary is out of sorts, and for those of you who don't know, Mary takes in stray dogs. She's a rescuer, but she is also a grandmother to a disabled woman that she cares for night and day and night, 24/7, 365. So you can imagine the kind of, if it's for a normal, regular person dealing with the nightmare that is pendeja for fraud, can you imagine a person that has to care for an adult and has to care for all of these rescues? It's a lot. It is a lot. So I am super proud of the fact that folks like her and others, y'all know who you are out there, that have been fighting out in these courts, trying to get justice, trying to protect yourself, trying to be heard. Just know I am very, very proud of you. And tonight is a win for all of you, for every single person that has attempted to get a restraining order to stop this crazy woman from threatening and from harassing you. Good job.
Good job.
Godspeed. God bless. Now, I wanted to tell you what other nonsense this crazy woman brought up in court. But first, I want you to hear how she was preparing her lie, how she was preparing in her mind what lies she was going to walk into court with. Because she was going to have to explain why she has been threatening, cyberbullying, and harassing Mary and her disabled granddaughter on social media for months now. And she gave us a glimpse of what her excuse was going to be in her video that she did right before going to court. And this is what she said about herself and how important she is in the world.
Yes.
She is an activist.
So there's something I wanted to address this morning. I got to tell you that I've been an activist for many years. Hi from Lexington, Kentucky. I've been an activist for many years. I've been a pro-Trump activist for many years. For many years for him, since he announced he was running for president. And prior to that, on my own, basically not really an official activist like I have been recently, but just more like on my own, going around certain, places telling people, why are you doing this? Why are you behaving this way? Why are you embarrassing me as a Hispanic and behaving in this manner? Why are you not speaking English? Why do streets in LA look like this? Why is it so trashy? Why are we turning America into a third world country? Why are we street vending like this when America doesn't street vend like that, like this? So I saw that a long time ago I saw this. And hi from Michigan. Pick is fine on your end. Okay. Okay, thank you for letting me know. It looks distorted on my end. So, I've been an activist for many years. I've been to school for fashion merchandising. I've been to school for business. I had to take a communication major in Mexico City, at a very reputable university in Mexico City, because they didn't have my major. So I took communication and marketing at that university. So I've never really been a politician. I've had my background is very diverse. But it's never been politics until now. Now I'm in school for political science. So that's something that I recently decided just last year after I started getting attacked through the court system, which is kind of what they're doing to our president now. They've made...
Oh, right.
So do you understand what the tactic there is?
Yeah. I am like the president. I'm being attacked by just like the president. I'm so important.
She's just like the president.
I'm getting a political science degree, which most people I know did political science. They ain't working. You know, it's one of those degrees that poli-sci. Oh, yeah. So where are you working? Not with doing politics. You don't get a degree in politics. You can study the law. You get law degrees. You can be a paralegal. A very nice school in Mexico. Communication. Well, I don't think she's learned much. So it's like, and also these videos were using, she put them out. They're still on her page. Paloma for Trump, sitting right there, publicly available page. She's a public figure. We're putting her videos out. That's where we get information. We put information out that is public, that anyone can get.
Yes. And by the way, folks, she shows up at the courthouse with her, lawyer / pimp.
Oh.
AKA her husband. Verified. At least she swore to it in court today.
Oh.
The court, yes, because Jean Faraon, Nadine Faraon, her husband, or the guy that she claims is her husband, went to court with her today, but he has a different last name. She has been an escort to many gentlemen, many men, many of them even married men, who she has told when they were en route to pick her up and have their quote-unquote date, that Jean, they've just, they've been together for so long. They're, the only two people in each other's lives that, they make it work, but they're not really in a relationship.
Well,
and it's going to be okay if we, wink, wink, go up to the hotel room and Nadine Faraon even drives us there, because there's really no other relationship here than like roommates or something, glorified roommates. So, and this has been said to me by a lot of different men that she has taken money from, that she has slept with, that she has had these, like I described them, very similar to a John and a prostitute. Mm-hmm. And she's always described that her relationship to Jean is not of a husband and wife. So Mary had to tell them in the court today that the man that was in the courtroom with her claims to be her husband, and that, this guy, he's in here. He says he wants to participate in the court.
Oh, okay.
And they made a pretty big mistake, because throughout the entire proceeding, which lasted a very, very long time, Paloma begged, cajoled, persisted in requesting that her pimp / lawyer be in the room with her. I need him. He's my witness. I need him. I need to talk to him. I need to ask him a question, because he gives her all her thoughts and words for her. Mm-hmm. And the judge asked her at the beginning, "Is this your husband?" She said, "Yes." He raised his hand and was sworn in. "Are you her husband?" He said, yes. He said he'd been with her for 22 years, married for 12. With her for 22, married for 12. And then the court said, okay, if you intend to be a witness for her, you can't be in this courtroom. Get out. So he had to go, Duke. He had to go stand up. He couldn't be inside. So he was like, whenever she needed, they had to take a recess at one point because she was making wild claims about Mary. And the judge said, prove it. She said she was showing them the show of Mexican crossing lines. Mary was on the show and she was saying horrible things about me. The judge said, show me. She had to go and get the help from Jean Nadim Faraon, who was on the outside, furiously looking on his phone, furiously working on getting her the answers that she needed inside the courtroom. Wow. What do you think of that?
Wow, and these are the pictures that show it.
Oh, he's peeping. The peeping Tom Jean looking inside the court. He was right by the door. You can see him. There's the court doors. He was standing there looking in, wondering and figuring out what the next move is. What do you think, Duke?
Oh, I think it's hilarious. Also, seeing the pictures. And again, there was a lot of people at this court. We got flooded with information directly from people that were there, or people who heard about what was going on. And we felt it was really important to do a show tonight and show some of the details. And it makes me happy that, as this person that just made a donation to us, Deborah Serna says, thank you for your support to all Paloma for Trump victims. And that's what it's about. It's about, when people come forward, and I understand the fear, and there's ongoing court cases, and none of us want to ruin anyone's court case or put out information that would hurt them in a court setting. But once things happen, they're public. Things become public. This is a public proceeding that there's a transcript for. You can order the transcript and read the whole thing. You can attend the court hearing and watch and listen. And people did that today. And then they reported to us and sent us information. And we felt compelled that we would want to spread this around because finally, Paloma for Trump is being held accountable. And she needs to be held accountable even more. And she will. There's many other court dates on the docket. And we'll see if she shows up for any of those.
Well, here's the thing, though, Duke. The kicker out of all of this is that this woman who has done so many public videos that are available for everyone to see from her Paloma for Trump page, from her official pages as herself and as Paloma for Trump, saying that none of these restraining orders are granted usually because none of it sticks because they're all lies. It doesn't happen. And the people that try to get restraining orders against her, they all get dismissed. She has said that over and over again. Yeah, people try to take restraining orders, but they get dismissed. Well, that may have happened in some of the cases of some of the people. Many of them may not have been, most people don't know enough about the law to do a good job of representing themselves, which includes Paloma. But that's just because people don't understand court proceedings, court procedure, and they don't understand how to best, gather and present evidence to a court. But having said that, I told you what the stats are on initial request of a restraining order. 9 out of 10 times it'll be granted, to presenting evidence at the court on the court date that will extend the restraining order, like Mary's court date today, which is most of them don't get granted.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily because the person didn't deserve to get a restraining order or because there's really no threat to them. Sometimes it's just because they don't know how to do a good job of presenting evidence in court.
Exactly. And two is, this comes from the way domestic disturbances and domestic abuse wasn't dealt with for many, many years in the courts. Women were getting beaten by their husbands or boyfriends and by men, and they had no recourse in the courts. This was developed by Abused Women's Services. Women advocates helped change the court system to give an avenue to people who are being harassed, bullied, beaten, hurt, and it's entered the courts to protect the victims. So when you see someone who's taking that, like Paloma serving Mary a restraining order when Mary served a restraining on her. It's like Pee Wee Herman. So are you? What am I? You know, it's like, you know, it's like it's this childish thing, and that's what's abusing the court system.
Now, I wanted to read one of the comments from Ivan Riebling on our super chat saying that Jean is so skinny and Paloma is fat. I guess we know who eats all the food on their dates. I wanted you to throw up the picture that we got sent from the court of Jean at court, because this reminds me, thank you for your comments, everyone. I can't read all of them because I want to get through the story of what happened today in court, but I just wanted to show you what was, he does look pretty skinny. This guy looks pretty skinny. But what was interesting from the comments that I got was that this man was not dressed for being in court.
No.
He was just, the words that were used was very shabby looking, and this isn't the first time that I've heard of him looking shabby looking. Forlorn, skinny, didn't get enough to eat, doesn't look like he's been taking care of himself. And there is something to be said about that, especially when you consider that she desperately needed him in the courtroom.
Yeah.
Especially and she didn't expect that he was going to be excluded, so he was expected to be there. And it's okay in her mind. He can look like excrement next to her, as long as she feels pretty, as long as she feels like she's presentable. She don't care what he looked like in court. And that's another 101 move, because most people know. I mean, for Pete's sake, if you watch TV court shows,
exactly.
You know that people get thrown out of court all the time for not dressing appropriately in the court. When you go to court, you have to know that you have to stand up when the judge comes in the room.
That's right.
You have to speak to the judge with your honor, at the very least, sir or madam. You know, there's certain things that you got to know. One of them is don't dress like a homeless bum. Right?
That's right. I saw my cousin Vinny. I know how this stuff goes.
Exactly. You have to look presentable. And this goes a long way to show you that this isn't a person that is concerned about making a good impression. Not really, because if she were, she would have made sure that both her and her star witness / pimp / husband was properly attired for the event, but he was not. Instead, she went in there with her almighty highness and told the judge, as he was about to issue, he told her he was going to issue this restraining order for. She lost her dang mind. She was flipping out, and from what I heard, it literally sounded like she was trying to gain gain some influence with the judge by telling him that she's been in the White House.
Oh, yeah.
She knows the president. You can't do this to me. Do you know who I am? I know President Trump. I've been in the White House. I am the ambassador for Lexit. I sit on the advisory board for this and that and the other. I am the almighty, all important, just like she does in her video when she talks about the fact that she is being persecuted through the court system just like the president. She is projecting an image she would desperately like, because there are so many people out there that are angry about how President Trump has been treated, that she thinks that she can borrow that empathy, steal that empathy, and ride on the coattails of conservative people's anger in order to get her way. And she's so stupid, she thought she could do that in a court of law. She was going to walk in there. Do you know who I am?
Yes.
No, nobody knows who you are.
Exactly.
And remember, she starts off by telling the court that the reason Mary is taking this restraining order out on her is because she's jealous that Paloma is a giant celebrity.
Oh, really?
That is, yes. She told the court Mary wants to be like her. This woman, who I told you takes in rescue animals, she has about a half a dozen dogs and a disabled adult granddaughter that she takes care of 24/7. The handful of times that I've been able to get Mary on the phone, it's usually late at night. She sounds exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
And the woman literally works around the clock to care for her family and her pets. And she still finds time to organize for events around the Republican Party, the GOP, and President Trump. And she still finds time to try to go to rallies. And she still finds time to try to enjoy life and give her granddaughter a good life. And here we have this crazy, delusional, obsessed stalker trying to sell the judge on the idea that Mary wants her life.
Oh, yeah.
Mary wants to be just like her, but because she can't, she decides she's become obsessed with her and she has to, get a restraining order. And the reason that she wants to get the restraining order on her the most is so she won't be able to go visit the president anymore.
Oh, right.
Because she's a frequent flyer. She's a regular at the White House, at the Trump house.
Oh, yes.
They're close, you see.
The Paloma suite.
And so if she has a restraining order against her, she won't be able to get in to see the president. That's what Mary's after. She wants to stop Paloma from, her frequent visits to the White House.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you recall that Paloma went to the White House recently, right? Mm-hmm. She had restraining orders out on her then.
Yeah.
And it didn't stop her from getting into the White House along with the rest of the folks.
Didn't stop her the last time. I don't know, which, I heard people were trying to pursue that, but it was no go. She still got in there, or did she, got in there and was with Lexit and, just like, so it's like, it didn't seem to have any effect the last time. So I don't know why it would this time, but maybe I don't know.
Well, I think she makes up a lot of crap, you know. But that was her whole shtick, that she's a celebrity and Mary wants it and she doesn't have it, and that's why she would do all of this. Really, it's incredible that she can say these things out loud on these videos in a courthouse and doesn't hear the crazy herself. Mm-hmm. She hears herself say these things and it doesn't sound completely delusional and nuts. Because when you think about it, to self-aggrandize in that way, I mean, one of the things about crazy people in the
delusional.
DSM is the delusion, right?
Delusion.
That you have these delusions of grandeur, that you're more than what you are. And at the same time, folks, she is crying to this judge that Mary is responsible because she appeared on my show, along with a whole bunch of people that have done the same, all of who are jealous stalkers of hers, to have losses, huge losses, economic and other losses, including the loss of her followers and her pages.
I thought she didn't take any money from anyone.
Honey, didn't she already lose the page that had nearly 70,000 followers on Facebook before we ever did a single report on this lunatic?
Yeah. She had lost her followers a long time ago. I mean, and, she talks about it left and right, and she talks about suing Zuckerberg and Facebook because they took her page away, wouldn't let her authenticate that she was a real person or whatever. And she claims that it had to do with the election, a foreign country trying to interfere with an election, which I don't believe. And it's like, we really don't know the reasons why. But she lost that a long, long time ago. And she's had several other pages that she's, deleted and things like that. So had nothing to do with us. We started covering her because of her harassment of people, her stalking people, and people that came forward to us, asked for help. And we took an interest in it at that time.
Of course, Paloma does not understand the law. She doesn't understand the Constitution. She doesn't understand what her rights are or what the rights of others are, which is why she tramples on the law. She tramples on the courts, and she tramples on anyone she feels is attacking her. And what is an attack to Paloma? She has the right to threaten, harass, stalk, defame all of the victims that she has, and there are dozens of them, And she has the right to do all of this, and no one is supposed to lift a finger or say a word. You need to keep your head down, and you need to shut up. If Paloma is threatening and harassing you, suck it up, take it in, and let her enjoy yourself. Otherwise, she's coming for you. I mean, that's what it amounts to. In the crazy, delusional world of Paloma Zuniga, a.k.a. Paloma for Trump, it is her God-given right to stalk, threaten, and harass people. And they're not supposed to respond in any way, shape, or form. Here, listen to her talking in this clip about her rights. What she thinks her rights are.
You were going to take a jab at me, guess what? I'm going to come right back at you. And and being a public figure, I also have to tell you, that does not take your rights away as a citizen or anything to defend yourself, okay? So even if I'm a public figure and I'm well known or whatever it may be, if you come at me and you attack me, I have the right to defend myself. It's the first law of nature. That's what the Second Amendment is for. I'm not saying that.
What?
I'm saying that,
The first law of nature is about the sex.
Somebody
What?
breaks into your house, you have the right to defend yourself. When it comes to verbal attacks,
Burgle?
you also have the right to defend yourself. Not
What
with a
burgle?
gun,
The
but you have
Hamburglar?
the right to defend yourself with words. It's the first law of nature. Okay.
The first law of nature. So to defend yourself, the Second Amendment. I don't know what she's talking about. This is a video she still has on her page. She's posted yesterday. It's just, and she's leaving it there. It's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So she is so cuckoo in the brain that when she goes to court, she's all over the map. She wants to make a case for the judge to not grant this restraining order. Utterly failed at it. Utterly failed. She's a total failure at that. Instead, what she does, because she doesn't convince the judge with her cockamamie, Mary is jealous of my life. I mean, the judge has eyes. He looked at Jean Faraon. He looked at her. And he listened to her. He listened to Paloma say that she had lost all her followers and lost all of her money because of my show. Well, we know she had already lost her page a long time before I ever did a single report on her. A single report. She already lost her page. And she was blaming Mark Zuckerberg back then. Thanks, Mary, for your support.
Oh, thank you, Mary.
And I want to really thank and commend Mary. I don't care how many times this needs to be said. I will say it again and again and again and again, that Mary Tando Quintanilla had the courage, even though it wasn't something that she could easily make room for in her life. She made time to talk to people, to tell the people out there that listen to my show what her experience, her firsthand experience was dealing with this woman and her husband, having them in her home, watching her stalk other people and laugh, watching her make memes and put them on her fake pages. She was doing this at Mary's house. Mary noticed this woman's behavior, and like so many of the people that have come forward, she wanted to give this woman the benefit of the doubt and try to be a good friend. That's reflective of the kind of person Mary is. That's reflective of the kind of generosity and character that a lot of the people that Paloma got close to have. Oscar, Anthony, Mary, so many people, too many people to name. Michael Shapiro, Pablo, Josh. There are so many people that have come forward and talked about their experiences of what this woman has done to them. And it started with the courageous voice of Mary Tando Quintanilla.
Yes, that's
and
for sure.
And that is what we are celebrating here, because the fact of the matter is every single person out there fighting, standing up, speaking out, you are all collectively helping to expose this woman and to shut her down, working together. When one of you wins, even an inch in this battle, all of you win. And that's what happened tonight. Right, Duke?
Exactly. And, it's wonderful. Ms. Red Badger just did a comment and a donation of $10.
Woohoo!
The first law of nature is a Second Amendment? Who knew? Exactly. That's when I heard her say that. I said, what's she talking about? But again, it's about, this is a win today. It might not have been, a permanent restraining order, but it was a win. The judge decided that this woman needs to be protected from this crazy.
Yeah.
And that's the important message. And the rest of you who are pursuing this, just take that as motivation that justice can be served, like Mary said.
Despite all of the lies, because part of what this woman did in court today was just lie her butt off. She just sat there and lied to the judge, lied about the restraining orders, lied about what was, the reason behind Mary getting a restraining order. She just lied about everything. So you can imagine the frustration. You can imagine the exhaustion of not only being a person that is harassed for months and months by somebody like Paloma, but then having to go to court, taking time out of your day, getting a babysitter, all of that.
The filing fees too.
The filing fees, the all of that, having to do all of that. There's a pretty interesting story on how she got served too. I'll have to get some other stuff from other things from Mary, and I'll share that story later on. But just imagine going through all of that and going to court and just having this woman vomit word salad of lies.
Yeah.
Just lie her butt off. It's gotta be like, on your last nerve. But that is exactly what she did. And God bless him, the judge did not buy it. The judge saw through all of that nonsense and said, nope, 4 months. And he did this based on evidence presented today. And here's one of the things, and this is just my personal opinion because of the way the story was told to me by the different people. I started to put together a picture because it's like, when you talk to a variety of different people about the same event, each one of them has a little piece of the puzzle. Each one of them tells you a little piece of something. And they're telling you something when you look at the whole thing, you have a very different picture than all of them put together.
Yep.
And so I know that her presentation to the judge shot her. She shot herself in the foot, or maybe it was in the mouth. She couldn't help herself. She couldn't just stick with the restraining order Mary had taken out against her and come up with a cockamamie excuse for that. She had to try to convince this judge that all of the people that had taken out restraining orders against her are also wrong.
Yeah.
That all of the people that are, taking her to court, they're all crazy people. So she started bringing up Pablo. She started bringing up Jimena Sanchez. She started telling on herself to the judge. Oh, there's a whole bunch of other things, which obviously Mary wasn't there to discuss, and took the judge on a tangent. But I personally think that roller coaster ride was exactly what the judge needed. Duke, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think so too, and I'm glad that the judge would see through that, entertain it. But the courts are totally different than you see on TV. It's not My Cousin Vinny. It's not these Judge Judy. Judges have a whole different structure that they base their decisions on. So it's like, I don't know what was going through the judge's head, but I think he did a good ruling, and it'll be revisited again.
Oh, yes.
I wanted to say that Janice Orbison, thank you very much for your contribution. Janice says, thank you for sharing the truth about Paloma. Sweet justice and more to come.
Exactamundo. Ivan Riebling said that she shot herself in the beak. That's true. She is a bird. Paloma. Very funny.
Yep.
But folks, this is the kind of, when I first heard all of the craziness that she brought up in court, and the frustration for those who were there to witness and listen, that they were thinking like, what does this have anything to do with the case of Mary getting a restraining order?
Exactly.
But I was listening with glee because I'm thinking, oh my God. She didn't just show all of her craziness on her video. She took it to court.
Wow.
Which tells you she don't know when to turn it off. She doesn't have an off switch for her craziness.
Wow.
She can't mentally edit and go, I probably shouldn't talk about the aliens because someone's going to put me in the nut. She doesn't do that.
Yeah.
She shows up in court and she's like, I'm going to start telling the judge the same crazy things that I make up online, and he'll believe me too. Didn't work.
Yeah.
But let me just share with you some of that crazy because, you got to see it. She talked about it before she went to court, just like she did in her posts and videos of what I've showed you so far. She did go and do in court. So here's a screen capture about her talking about Jimena Sanchez, and she's basically claiming that somebody burned her, that that Jimena is a kidnapper, a murderer, and that she destroyed a model's face by stabbing it.
Wow. And
that while they kidnapped her, and they also kidnapped Christopher from Fox News outside of the studios, and they murdered both of his dogs. Wow. Notice how many times she accuses people of murdering dogs? Just note that. Put a pin in it because she uses the same crazy lies all the time. It involves witchcraft, right? There's witches involved. There's spells. There are demons. And there are apparently dead dogs. But go back to the dead dog ones, because here's another claim that she makes on here that is super crazy. And I think it's also fascinating. She claims that somebody paid to have her burned. She got burned. It says, that was my only enemy at the time. She's again referring to Jimena Sanchez, the woman that she is stalking. Because you know what she knows before she goes into court, folks? I knew about this court date. Right? I told you at the start of my show, I knew about this upcoming court date. So I told you, and Duke has told you, we do the research, we do the gathering, we do the sharing, we put it into a show, we document everything for the courts, for the police, for posterity. Why? Because that way it'll be easy for the victims, for the officers, for the judges, for the lawyers, for whoever is investigating, to find the information all in one neat location. That's why I put the evidence in every show. That's why my shows are so long. That's why I get so critiqued about putting all of the receipts and showing all the screen captures. But I don't care, because that's my purpose, you see. The side of me that studied the law and that was a paralegal for 2 decades, that side of me wants to document every little detail. That's why I record and screen capture, and that's why I asked all of you to do the same. Because then it's easy to find. And what did I put in my last show before Paloma for Trump went to court? What did I put in there? I showed exactly how she stalks people and then retaliates against her victims before they can get a restraining order. And I showed you that with the case of Jimena Sanchez, another celebrity besides Fabiana Baldo, who she has been stalking for years, who she has been making this woman's life miserable for years. The mountain of evidence of the stuff that she has posted and said and harassed and threatened Jimena Sanchez with is enough for 3, 4, 5 shows exclusively about Jimena Sanchez and Paloma threatening, harassing, and stalking her.
Wow.
I just put a very succinct amount of information, which I'm going to share with you right here, so that you can hear for yourself. But first, I want to remind you of what she said, okay? because she wanted to present to the judge this facade, this image of her being a very respectable, very credible, connected to the White House. I mean, the Secret Service let her into the building, so obviously she must be vetted by the president himself. Yeah. I mean, she might as well be undercover FBI or something. Mm-hmm. She might as well be Inspector Gadget because, of course, she's so highly respected, an ambassador for this and that and the other thing, right? And at the same time, she wanted to present herself as someone that had lost everything because of me and all of these people harassing her. So she starts talking about that in this video. And let me remind you when this happened. You remember that right around the time that she went to the White House, which she talked about in court, she cleaned up all her pages. She got rid of a lot of her stuff herself. Not that there were many followers on those pages anymore. Not that she was really getting a lot of traction, but she had to go back and clean up a lot of the threats, harassment, stalking that she used her Paloma for Trump page to do. And the reason that she did that was because these organizations and groups that she is associated with told her to knock off her nonsense and clean it up, or they were going to boot her to the curb like the dog that she is.
Wow.
That's why she did it. She didn't do it because she was, you know what, I got to start being a lady today. I should start being respectful. I should start representing the Trump brand and the Trump name in an honorable way. Mm-hmm. No, that doesn't happen. Not in Palomaville.
Yep.
Not in Cuckooville. No. Someone told her, you need to do this right now. So she did it. But in her video, pre-court, she was already, the wheels were turning. I know it was just a hamster wheel in her head, but the wheels were turning. And she was like, how am I going to explain to the judge what they're probably going to hear? Because Mary just watched a show where I used the same tactic that I'm using on her today, where I threatened, stalk, and harass her, and then claim that I'm the victim. And the judge is going to hear me laughing probably because Mary just got this information from watching Cindy's show where I'm cackling like a Disney witch, celebrating the fact that I'm stalking a celebrity. So she had to start coming up with an idea. How am I going to explain that?
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And here's what she talked about, how she made herself a respectable person.
Kept all drama off my my platform now for a long time because Trump supporters, American citizens, deserve a respectable, serious platform. A lot of you, thousands and thousands of you, have given me so much support. My original page was deleted because it was not verified as a U.S. citizen. And Mark Zuckerberg claimed that I was a bad actor interfering in American politics from a foreign nation, which that foreign nation would be Mexico, Tijuana. But they didn't bother to verify my account before deleting it. And now,
I wonder what really happened on that one. I don't believe any of that.
Well, believe it or not, she has repeatedly claimed that she had her Facebook page with 70 or 80,000 followers taken away from her because she was found to be a foreign agent interfering with American elections. You heard it.
Yeah.
Play that thing again. That's the reason why she's saying she got removed from Facebook. That's why she lost all her followers. She walked into court the day after she made this video and told the judge the reason she lost all her followers was because of my reporting. Which is it? Listen to her again.
Oh, that one's gone already. I have to grab it again.
Oh, no. I usually Okay, let's not get rid of any videos before we know what we're going to go on to the next time, because...
What was it called?
It was called Respectable Serious Platform.
There we go.
Kept all drama off my my platform now for a long time, because Trump supporters, American citizens, deserve a respectable, serious platform. A lot of you, thousands and thousands of you, have given me so much support. My original page was deleted because it was not verified as a U.S. citizen. And Mark Zuckerberg claimed that I was a bad actor interfering in American politics from a foreign nation, which that foreign nation would be Mexico, Tijuana. But they didn't bother to verify my account before deleting it. And now,
I believe something else, like all of her stalking, harassing, and threatening has gotten her in trouble on social media, just like it's gotten her in trouble in the real world. I think that's the real reason. But if you would prefer to believe that she's a foreign agent interfering with elections, and that's why she got kicked off of Facebook, so be it. Mm-hmm. Choose her excuse. I don't care. They're both horrible reasons. Both of them. The reality, though, is that she went into court and made up all of these reasons and explained to the judge that there was, a reason for what they heard on that audio where she's stalking Jimena Sanchez. And it has to do with the fact that Jimena is a bad person too. Listen to her allude to Jimena Sanchez here. She calls her a prostitute and a porn star. That's who she's referring to. She wrote in all of her posts, if you've been paying attention since I did my last show, one of the screws went loose in her head. And she decided she would start to put a bunch of stuff out on social media, including explanation after explanation after explanation, which I am not going to waste my time showing you on this show.
Exactly.
For why she did what she did to Jimena Sanchez. Why she did that. And this is one of her excuses. She is talking about Jimena, and she basically says that she did this because Jimena is a prostitute and a porn star. Listen.
About me, your friend, your friend on that wannabe famous radio show, keep lying about me, keep slandering me, keep bringing on fake witnesses, because that's what you've been doing. So many of the claims that they've made are so easily provably false. So look at those women going to the Oscars, nice. So easily provably false. Okay, they've called me a terrorist. They've called me a smuggler. They said that I started fires. They said that I have ties to human traffickers. They've said that I've forged documents at the border to cross, but I've never crossed a boat. I've never crossed a vehicle. I've never done any of that. They took a lot of stuff from my movie channels, and they've been having a blast with it. We were setting up some prostitute in Las Vegas and getting her to talk. Not a prostitute, I'm sorry, a porn star who, if you look up, you will find all kinds of stuff on Pornhub and everything else. And they've been taking some of those audios and using them against me and trying to make them sound real, okay? They've been taking personal audios from people that I also have audios to, that I could put the entire picture together for, but they only show you what they want to show you. A lot of these audios are in Spanish. So guess what they do? They take out pieces, because they know that it's mostly an American public watching, okay? They take out pieces, and guess what? They give it the context that they want, just like they do with our president. They take out the pieces that are...
Okay, I want you to go back and show some of the things that she claims. She claims that Jimena is a kidnapper. Let's go back.
Let me get rid of that one first, so.
I don't want you to get rid of it.
No.
Oh, I mean, you mean like that. I don't want you to don't delete it so we can play it again.
You're talking about this.
I want it. Nope. I said I would like you to put up the Jimena kidnapper image.
All right.
It says Jimena kidnapper. Oh, you just went past it. There it is again.
There it is.
Yes. This is from a post of hers where she says, she's talking about Jimena. Now we know that this is what she was concerned with. So this post is her on this Conservative Truth page saying, is this the poor victim really a kidnapper that was being stalked? Perhaps we need to investigate this woman. Thank you, Tamale. That's what she always calls me. So we know it's her language. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Tamale, for exposing this. Ordering for her to get burned? Huh. Ordering for her to get burned? Question mark.
Wow.
And one of these pictures, as you can see, has superimposed a witch's hat on this model, celebrity, Fox News person, Jimena Sanchez. Because, again, this is the theme that she continually brings up. Witches and witchcraft. But look what this picture has written on it. Burn her. Burn her.
Wow.
Yeah. These are the kinds of images that she posted right after my show when I played her stalking, the audio of her stalking this woman. Do you believe that I mistranslated something that was played in these two audios?
No.
Do you, because I'm going to translate for you every word right now, and I would like, and these audios were not edited. These are audios that she sent. You know how you make audios on your phone and you send them on Messenger or whatever? Mm-hmm. She sent these two audios, and I'm going to play the video for you where the person plays the audio off of their phone from start to finish. They were not edited. They were not cut down. They were not taken out of context, and they were not mistranslated. Furthermore, if you listen to it, she said they're trying to make them sound real. This is her own voice from her phone number sending these audios. What do you mean I try to make it? It is you.
Yeah.
It's your voice. Now you're going to try to pretend it ain't you? Now you're going to try to pretend that's not your voice? Or that you didn't say these things? Because that's what she's trying to make you... Listen again. I want you to hear her tell her lie. Let's listen to what she says about the audios, the evidence, the irrefutable evidence of her crime. This is what she said. Let's listen.
About me, your friend, your friend on that wannabe famous radio show, keep lying about me, keep slandering me, keep bringing on fake witnesses, because that's what you've been doing. So many of the claims that they've made are so easily provably false. So look at those women going to the Oscars, nice. So easily provably false. Okay, they've called me a terrorist. They've called me a smuggler. They said that I started fires. They said that I have ties to human traffickers. They've said that I've forged documents at the border to cross, but I've never crossed a boat. I've never crossed a vehicle. I've never done any of that. They took a lot of stuff from my movie channels, and they've been having a blast with it. We were setting up some prostitute in Las Vegas and getting her to talk. Not a prostitute, I'm sorry, a porn star who, if you look up, you will find all kinds of stuff on Pornhub and everything else. And they've been taking some of those audios and using them against me and trying to make them sound real, okay? They've been taking personal audios from people that I also have audios to that I could put the entire picture together for, but they only show you what they want to show you. A lot of these audios are in Spanish. So guess what they do? They take out pieces because they know that it's mostly an American public watching, okay? They take out pieces, and guess what? They give it the context that they want, just like they do with our president. They take out the pieces that are...
Okay, so don't believe the very clear audio of her in its entirety, unedited, because I take things from her movie channel because
On Pornhub.
she was trying to set up a porn star because I'm trying to make audios of her sound real that aren't. All of these reasons are the reasons why you shouldn't believe your eyes and ears. Don't believe your eyes and ears, because I got excuses up the wazoo for why that's not me, that's not real. Even though it is, because in a minute she's going to tell you, yeah, I did that and I don't care. She's lucky I didn't knife her. She's lucky I didn't take it physical and kill her. She does. She has no self-control. But right now, earlier in the video, she contradicts herself in the same dang video. Así de pendeja es. It is. It's incredible. It's mind-blowing that somebody could put so many contradictions into the same dang video. Like, they don't have the wherewithal to keep their lie straight. They have to switch it. Like, first of all, let me tell you, that audio, I don't know. I mean, they take things from it could be part of a movie, could be part of a movie plot. Anything I do could be part of the movie plot. That's the excuse I'm going to give.
Yep.
If you ever catch me doing something that looks like committing a crime, I'm an actress, so I can do that.
Yep.
Also, has something to do with crime. I'm a crime solver. Suddenly, this bench is an FBI agent or some kind of investigator, and she has the ability to go and investigate prostitutes and porn stars and try to set them up and try to figure out, what? Didn't that get you in trouble at the border, pendeja? Isn't that why you got in trouble at the border for assaulting a migrant child and making them pee their pants? You don't know where your place is. And then later on in the very same video, she tells you, yeah, she did it and she's proud of it. It's a good thing she laughed and didn't kill her instead.
Wow.
Now, imagine yourself as a judge hearing this audio I'm going to play for you in the courtroom. Because he did. The judge heard this audio from my show in his courtroom today. Paloma for Trump, a.k.a. Paloma Zuniga, was stupid enough to take my shows into the court and say, hey, judge, you know where you can find a lot of incriminating evidence about me? Go to a Mexican Crossing Lines, 88.1 FM. It's all right there.
Yeah.
I hope he watches more shows because there's all of the evidence that you possibly would need. Listen and watch as this person plays an audio from their phone in its entirety. I'll translate anything that needs to be translated. Be ready to pause if I need to have you pause so I can translate, Duke.
You know what it is that I'm out here in LA chasing these bitches, and oh my god, girl, I've been all over them today and yesterday. It's so funny, they're fucking scared out of their minds. Oh my god, I have so much to share with you. This morning I'm driving on Sunset and they're having fucking lunch at Sunset Saddle Ranch. I get out, I start stalking them. Oh my god, it's so funny. And so they, you know, they're always gonna try to get me to back away somehow, and you know, they're gonna try to find you enemies. I really don't have enemies other than her, so what's someone that can bother me, that can drain my energy? Well, something like this fucking idiot. I'm not gonna let it. I'm in LA, I'm focusing on la pinche puta enana.
Hold on. Effing whore midget. She called her effing whore midget. Pinche puta enana. And I'm only repeating those words out of her potty mouth because she tells you I don't translate correctly. So I'm going to say each word and I'm going to tell you what she said. Just so that we're clear that I'm correctly translating the parts that are in Spanish that she claims I took out of context. Go on.
Sopaca.
Sopaca. which is again, she's putting her down. She's saying that she's short.
You know, wanna be chichona,
Wanna be chichona means she's calling her big boobed, ample breasted. Want to be, because she's jealous of this woman's figure and celebrity.
fucking, Pantene hair. And
Wanna be Pantene hair because she's jealous of her hair. I just showed you pictures of this woman. This woman is a model. She is a sportscaster, and she is beautiful. Rewind and listen to it unedited the whole way through and play.
you know what it is, that I'm out here in LA chasing these bitches. And oh my God, girl, I've been all over them today and yesterday. It's so funny. They're fucking scared out of their minds. Oh my God, I have so much to share with you. This morning I'm driving on Sunset and they're having fucking lunch at Sunset Saddle Ranch. I get out, I start stalking them. Oh my God, it's so funny. And so they, they're always gonna try to get me to back away somehow. And they're gonna try to find you enemies. I really don't have enemies other than her, so what's someone that can bother me, that can drain my energy? Well, something like this fucking idiot. I'm not gonna let it. I'm in LA, I'm focusing on la pinche puta enana sotaca, wanna be chichona, wanna be fucking, Pantene hair, and that's my focus, and I'm not gonna let this guy bother me because she's my focus, but that.
There you go. Mm-hmm. That's what she wanted to say, that she is having a great old time stalking Jimena Sanchez and the woman that is with her, because she didn't just stalk Jimena Sanchez. I'm going to show you. There was a woman. I showed you a screen capture of her out in the hotel parking lot. Mm-hmm. You're going to hear another audio right now where she's describing, she can see right into their window, and then she takes a picture of the two women in the window and sends it. There's two women. She took out a restraining order the next day against both of those women. She was stalking two people at once here, not just Jimena Sanchez. Listen to the video.
I parked my car right across the street, like on Sunset. One of the meters. Girl, it's an 18-story fucking hotel. 18 stories high, okay? Do you know how many fucking rooms there must be? There must be at least, 300 rooms and 18 fucking stories? They get the room on the first floor overlooking my car. Out of all fucking chances. I don't know if that was good or bad. I think that was good. But, so here you have me stalking them and them looking at me out the window. They're staring at each other like they could have gotten this, a room on the 7th floor, 8th floor, fucking 17th floor. No, they got room 102 on the first fucking floor, overlooking my car, looking out the window saying, oh, look at her, she's stalking us. She's like...
Okay, what did I take out of context? What did I take from her movie channel? Yeah. She didn't have a movie channel. All of these came from a YouTube channel with her name on it. And I took a screen capture of it and I showed all of you that there was only like 6 videos, and all of them were her videotaping her husband committing fraud and her talking about it and talking to the camera. I can't take that out of context. It was her own words. She's very, very upset about the fact that I showed all of those videos to you because they incriminated her and him committing crimes together. That's one of the reasons why she brought it up again in her recent response to my show, because it really, really bothers her that I was able to find this information that she had, that she created, and that she forgot about, that incriminates the hell out of her. So the only thing she has left to tell you is that I'm a bad translator.
Yep.
It's not what it looks like. And even if you know Spanish, and even if you can understand what's on that video, it was for a movie.
Yep.
It was for a movie in which she looked like a homeless bum that was picking her nose and cleaning her dirty armpits. Yep. But no matter, it was still for a movie. Wink, wink.
Yep.
You're supposed to believe that load of malarkey coming from her because, I don't know, you have eternal hope. But maybe for those of you who've been watching her or have been watching my shows for a long time, you're still sitting there scratching your head going, how is anyone still following this crazy person or supporting her in any way? Well, according to her, even though she says she doesn't mind losing her pages with thousands of followers, she claims that it hasn't affected her in any way, shape, or form, and that she's going to keep on being famous and keep on doing well. She told the court today she's lost all of her followers and she's lost all of her support. And it's because of my shows. That's what she told the court today. Now, we know that that's not true because she'd already lost all her followers before I ever did a single report on her.
Exactly.
And that's easily verifiable. Easily verifiable. But that's what she's telling the court. That's what she's saying in court. And I want to show you that she took out a restraining order against Jimena Sanchez on the day after that audio, those two audios, where she is gleefully reporting how these women are terrified of her and she is stalking them and they're just staring out the window and they can see her stalking them and she's laughing like a Disney witch. She is celebrating the fact that she is committing this crime, and then she takes out a restraining order the very next day against Jimena Sanchez. Here is that restraining order. How can anybody how can I take this out of context? How am I taking this out of context?
Yep.
She is the one that is a serial harasser. She just doesn't like that there's so much evidence. And I'm not the only one collecting it. Here is a lot of the cases that she has against people that were put on this page that someone recently sent to me called Clapback Season. Take a look at all of those names. What's the first one, Duke? Veronica Rodriguez.
Oh.
That's a case for harassment. And Jimena Sanchez. She took out a restraining order against both of those ladies. And I just showed you that she was the one stalking them. Proven. Through her own words. Her own audios. That she's enjoying the heck out of stalking these two women. She also took one out on Mackenzie Strickland. There's Public Storage Inc., Terry Ojeda, Michael Shapiro, Fabiana Baldo, and of course, the latest, Mary Quintanilla. And that is only a portion of the recorded harassment according to this post. That doesn't even include, I didn't get to read the rest of that. So if we could go back to that, it doesn't include all the people that she has harassed that didn't go to the courts. That's true because a lot of people, they choose not to go through the additional, it's a lot of work to go through a court case and a lot of stress, and it can carry a lot of costs too. And here's her post. This is probably one of the craziest things I saw. This is her post talking about Jimena Sanchez and why, again, she's been trying to make people believe that this is all part of some kind of movie plot. Okay? A woman named Susan Beck asks her, Jimena Sanchez is a Mexican criminal kidnapper. Well, if that's the case, why didn't you take a picture with her and post it on your page just like you did with Ivan Riebling? Taking a jab at her because she seems to have photographic evidence of a lot of things and claims that she has audios of a lot of things, but she doesn't ever produce them. She doesn't ever show what she claims that she has. And in this case, Kim Edwards also makes fun of her about her claims on Jimena Sanchez being a kidnapper and a murderer and all these things. And she says, Paloma, is that why you were following her? Is that why you were, being a stalker? Because now people know that she was stalking her and she admits it on the audios. So they ask her. So if, your excuse about Jimena Sanchez and all the things you've said about her have to do with the fact that she is a kidnapper and a murderer, and she had you burned and all of these other things. Is that why you were following her? Is that why you admitted in the audios you were stalking her? And then Kim Edwards goes on to ask, she's a kidnapper? Is this voice clip from a movie, the one that was on my show?
No.
Is that from a movie too that you made about an anchor woman? She's talking about the fact that she's on Fox Sports. Is the audio that we heard on Cindy's show for the movie that you made about an anchor woman that was a kidnapper that was being followed by a stalker, which is her, and that went and got a restraining order? Is that what the movie plot is? That's crazy movie story. She's like, good storyline. Like, you can't make this stuff up. But you played your part real good. That's right, Kim. You know, when you start to think logically, her excuses and her reasons for why she does and has done and has said the things that she's done and said, they make no sense. Only a delusional, psychotic person would think they did, but nobody's buying it, including the judge. And just to recap, she put this in the video too. She talks about it. She's like, you know what? Yeah, that audio, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and own it. In the same video that I told everyone that, you know, I alluded to the fact that was probably an audio taken out of context and a fake audio at that. I'm going to go ahead and own it and say, yeah, that was me laughing at her. And she's lucky that all I did was laugh. Listen to her. Listen to the crazy. In her own words.
Oh, and the woman that they claim that I was stalking back in 2018. Oh, well, let me tell you the story on that woman. She had me burnt in 2013. A real piece of work. Had me burnt. I have pictures. I'm not going to post them just yet. I'm going to show them tomorrow to the judge.
Are you telling me that this woman burned you in 2013 and you are still stalking her in 2018? Let's do the math there. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. You know what that spells to me? Straitjacket.
Yeah.
Padded cell. What is wrong with you? Somebody burned you and you're going to show the pictures to the judge at the Mary Tando case? First of all, she didn't show that judge no pictures of her getting burned. You know why? Because she's a serial liar. She is a pathological liar. I'm going to show the pictures to the judge. No, you didn't. But you know what was shown to the judge? The audios and the videos of you stalking.
Yep.
And this clip. Go ahead and play the rest of that.
I play the whole thing again.
Go ahead.
Oh, and the woman that they claim that I was stalking back in 2018. Oh, well, let me tell you the story on that woman. She had me burnt in 2013. A real piece of work. Had me burnt. I have pictures. I'm not going to post them just yet. I'm going to show them tomorrow to the judge. She had me physically burnt. Some of my people have already seen it. She had me physically burnt. The guy that burnt me eventually confessed to it. He had to leave town. He had to shut down his business and never come back. The police told him, you're gonna be arrested for, like, it was high grade assault. Before we knew it, he was gone. Because in Mexico, they give you that, like, you know, in Mexico.
Okay, there's more to the story, folks. Let me explain to you. So, 7 years ago, this woman ordered someone to burn me. The person I was stalking all those years later, this is what happened. 7 years ago, she ordered or paid someone to come and burn me on her behalf. And the police went and told him, guess what? We're going to arrest you and you're going to go to jail for a very serious crime here. So, thus, giving this man all the necessary time to sell his business. Is that what she just said?
Yeah, she just said
he
that, yeah.
sold his business and he left town. He had time to get his affairs in order because the Mexican police were kind enough to go and tip him off.
Yeah. God.
What?
I don't think so. I don't. What?
Does her crazy? I mean, her crazy has to sound normal to her because when I hear things like that, I'm like, "Excuse me, what? How can you even believe something that's stupid and ridiculous?" She even, you know how she like turns her head. That's why she wears those sunglasses all the time, so you can't see her eyes darting around. Her eyes darting around every which way, as she cannot even look you in the camera eye.
Exactly.
Because she is lying so badly. So badly. She's just making things up as she goes along. Go on with your crazy story, crazy.
Things work a little different. We don't have bails and stuff like that, you know? I mean, we do, but it works different. They warned him. This is aggravated assault. This is physical aggravated assault, what you've done to her. And eventually he confessed it was because of her. I didn't find out until a few years later. And eventually I found out she did it to somebody else as well. In 2016, I found out.
Okay. Update. Newsflash. Okay, let me get the story straight. 2013. Allegedly, Jimena Sanchez had a person come and burn her. How? We don't know. Yep. She ain't gonna, with a big lighter, with a cattle prod. What? How did they burn you? Did they call you panzona for Trump? I mean, what was it? Was it a sick burn? What kind of burn was it? One, obviously, though, that would lead to a serious assault charge. And she didn't learn about it till 3 years later. So that puts us at 2016.
Yep.
And in the same year that she finally finds out that this guy is the guy that burned her. So let me get this straight. You got burned, and it took the police and or him 3 years. And what made him finally confess? Why didn't he confess the first year or the second year? Why did he confess 3 years later on the same year that you found out that Jimena Sanchez ordered someone else to be burned? Was it the same guy? Did she hire a new guy? I don't know. You don't get any of those details. Well, guy one, the guy that burned her, he got tipped off by the cops because, in Mexico, things are different. They don't have bail, but they do, but they don't. But it's different,
Yeah.
And then she finds out someone else got burned. Same woman. Do you get the feeling that she's making this all up in her delusional head?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, go on. This is her reason why it's okay for her to stalk this lady in 2018 and her friend. Go on. Go on.
After going through years of trauma and not knowing what the hell had happened to me. So when you hear me about stalking a criminal and laughing about it, thank God I was laughing about it and didn't have a knife in my hand and wanting to kill that person for what she did to me.
So she says, in air quotes, so when you hear me stalking a woman and then laughing about it, pendeja, that was your voice. And now in this sentence in which you are speaking right now, you are admitting in the very next words that was you. You owned it. Right after you use the air quotes. You then say, thank God I was laughing and didn't have a knife in my hand to kill her. To kill her. You got to play that part again. You got to, because let me just tell you folks, she said she actually brought this woman into the courtroom by bringing up my show and then trying to give a long list of crazy excuses to the judge, which took the whole case on a tangent, but she did it to herself. So that allowed witnesses and Mary to show the judge what she has done in the past. Her pattern of stalking and harassing and threatening behavior, not just to Mary, but to other people. And this audio clip from my show, this audio clip from her own video, from in her own words, prompted as a response to the show I did playing those audios, was used against her in court today. Listen, this is compelling stuff. And I didn't take it out of context. I didn't make that video. You did. You made that video that was used in court for the judge today. She lost her case with her own words. Hear her words.
A criminal and laughing
A little
about
bit
it.
more.
Thank God I was going through years of trauma and not knowing what the hell had happened to me. So when you hear me about stalking a criminal and laughing about it, thank God I was laughing about it and didn't have a knife in my hand and wanting to kill that person for what she did to me. Trust me, when I see that woman on Sunset, I could have done a lot more than stalk her. No, I wanted to serve her with a restraining order. And thank God 5 years later, I was laughing about it and not, committing suicide over it, which a lot of people would have.
So, listen. She makes it even worse because she goes on to say, trust me, when I saw that woman on Sunset, I could have done a lot more to her than just stalk her. And you know what? The judge heard that too.
Wow.
In fact, it was one of the things he asked her about, and he did not have a happy tone when he asked that question. He asked her directly, because it sounds like what she said is that if she had had the chance, she would have done a lot more than stalking. Is that what you heard, Duke?
Yeah, I heard. That's exactly what I heard. And it's it's mind-boggling. And like you said, she just produced this video yesterday, right before going to court, giving her whole strategy of how she's going to deal with this restraining order against her and bringing up all this stuff. It's totally off. Very off.
And I want to thank Paloma for putting her foot in her mouth, for shooting herself in the foot, for making the videos and all of the evidence necessary to take herself down, and to each and every one of our contributors, including the most recent ones, to tonight's Super Chat, to America One, as well as Carlos Hernandez, who said he's making a donation. No nalgas for Trump. And folks, every single one of you who donated tonight, thank you, Sophia, very much.
Thank you, Sophia.
She said, hope that everyone gets justice. This is just too much, just crazy. It is. But guess what? She did it to herself. The one guiding light in all of this is that it really bites her in the butt. She knows how to deflect and blame everyone for everything that happens to her, and she's been doing that even as she harasses, threatens, and stalks her victims. And she was trying to do that with the content of my show, and you know what it did instead? It backfired on her big time. Big time, because the judge was like, what's all this crazy stuff that you want to tell me about that's on Cindy's show? And you know, she hates it that she's not making money off of exploiting Trump supporters and conservatives anymore.
Yep.
And that instead you are contributing to independent journalism that exposes people like her.
Yeah,
Right,
like
Duke?
Little Troll just made a $10 contribution. This is my message.
My message, yeah.
If you want to see her head explode, throw it some more, and she can't stand it. She complains about it. First, she's like, oh, you made a few dollars, big deal. Now she's like, now they're making money. And she just goes on and on and on. I'm like, well, you go ahead and do it. You have a YouTube channel, do some lives, put your stuff out there. But no, she does it the way she's doing it.
Or put out your evidence, or put out the truth. But she can't,
Yeah.
and she won't, because she literally can't she's no skills other than harassment, threats, lies, and apparently hooking up with some Johns. And she did it at the border. Thank you once again for your support, Mary. you did a great job, and you are somebody that I think a lot of folks look up to because of the courage that you had to take her on. Today was a victory for all of her victims. I want to say that once again. And I want to close out my show today by sharing some of the other things that she revealed on this video, and that today and today's court have revealed to us. And that is, she's a serial liar. She shoots herself in the foot. Her crazy is uncontainable, so it's going to bubble out whether she's in a courtroom in California or in New Jersey or in New York, what have you. The more that this woman is forced to confront what she has done and exposed for what she is doing, the more she will continue to shoot herself in the foot and put her big foot right in her mouth. Don't you think so, Duke?
Definitely. And Alex, very much appreciated. $20 right before we're going to play a little bit more of Paloma going crazy.
Paloma lying, because let me share with you that at the very end of this video, in which she reserves a special threat for me, she says, hey, I just want you to know I didn't ever really make any complaint to the FCC, but what if I do now? And you know what else she said? She admitted that when she became viral, especially in Mexico, for pushing that migrant child and gleefully admitting that she made this child pee his pants, after which she went on numerous television shows and media platforms in Mexico saying that she was being filmed for a movie. Mm-hmm. That the things that she said and did were all part of a documentary, was part of a movie, and that things were taken out of context. Oh, similar to what she said about me and my reporting and my shows. Everybody's got it wrong. Everybody doesn't understand her. It was for a movie. It was for a documentary. She defended herself. Never once have I heard her say that what she did to that migrant child and how she became viral right before going to the White House, representing a group of people with Lexit, how she was wrong. But in this video, she admits she was, and then says she went crazy. Thank you very much for all of the supporters tonight. Once again, we got another supporter.
Yep, eyes wide open. True crime. $20. Thank you, Sydney and Duke Nima, for sharing.
So this is what she said. She said, I lost my damn mind. Here it is, in her own words, admitting that she actually was completely wrong for physically putting her hands on this child and making him pee his pants. And then she can't control herself. She has to lie again. Listen for the lie.
To all different places that I was excited about. I lost my mind at the border and I acted like them, delusional and crazy. I apologized as soon as the video came out. I apologized on national television. Again, I have to check. I don't know if it was Telemundo or Univision. I have to check. I don't know which one it was, but I apologize for even, acting that way. I've apologized to people in Tijuana. I do believe that this is a big spiritual battle, and that with all the attacks that we get, sometimes we lose our minds in some way. And I probably had my 4 or 5 minutes of what the hell did I just do? And it was wrong. It was wrong for me to confront any migrant at the border that way, whether I'm fundamentally right about it or not. That was not the way. Okay, that was not the way. Going out there and confronting migrants at the border that way, that's what Border Patrol is for. That's not my job. I mean, I could document it, I could document it, I could do all I want. But as far as physically confronting migrants, no, that's not my job. I mean, not that I said that I was Border Patrol or anything, because I'm not, that never happened. But I'm saying, even confronting them right there at the border, all I really should have done was film it so that Americans could see what's going on. But as far as me getting physically close to them, confronting them or whatever else, that was completely out of just out of my league. It was wrong. I apologized to I don't know how old he was. He was probably a 15-year-old kid, maybe 14. For not that, because people say that I made him, pee his pants. That's not true. He had been crossing through a river. He had already peed his pants a long time ago, and you can see it on the video. But either way, it was wrong.
Oh my God.
Wait a minute. People say.
People say.
People say. What people said you made him pee his pants? Roll the tape. Who said that? Because she's like, oh, by the way, I just need to tell you about that whole incident where I pushed the child. He was 15. You know, he was out of my league. What were you trying to do? Date him or assault him? No, you were out of line. What you did was criminal assault on a child. And so telling us that he's almost 15 or that he's 14 or 15 doesn't change the fact that you assaulted a child and then made him pee his pants and bragged about it on film.
Exactly.
So why don't you listen to who it was that was saying, people were saying I made him pee his pants. It's you. I don't know if you recognize yourself.
Exactly.
Maybe the schizophrenia has made you so
person,
delusional. You don't remember when the other voices are talking. But this is you in your own words. Listen, folks.
Who peed his pants, by the way?
Yeah, right?
He did.
He did. I saw that.
He did. Like, imagine the stress for
So
those
one,
children.
two,
Go back to the beginning of that.
Yep.
so four.
Who peed his pants, by the way?
Yeah, right?
He did.
He did. I saw that.
He did. Like, imagine the stress for
So
those
one,
children.
two.
Who peed his pants, by the way.
Yeah.
And the other woman says, he did. I saw that. So who said that you made him pee his pants? You made this boy pee his pants. You did. It was you. You and only you. You have no one else to blame. By the way, I also found a gem, and you'll never guess where I found a repost of one of Paloma for Trump's messages. You'll never guess where I found it reposted. Why, it was on none other than the Maria Mesa Foundation.
Really?
Yeah. Remember the lady that she helped to get expedited asylum into the United States because a hateful and dangerous Trump supporter was chasing her? This page, Maria Mesa Foundation, which many of you have mentioned seeing and sent to me before, has Paloma's page associated, Paloma for Dogs associated with the page. Now, I don't know if people that look at Maria Mesa's page also look at Paloma's page, and that's why it's associated, but it made me start to wonder. And you know what I thought was really weird? The language on the Paloma Maria Mesa page is all in Spanish. All of the posts, I mean, it's all in English. All the posts are in English.
Okay.
And a lot of them sound eerily like Paloma.
Oh.
And they're always they're talking about demons. You know how she talks about spiritual battles and whatnot. And she's like, I believe that this is a spiritual battle. So you're going to say the devil made you push that kid and made him pee his pants? I went crazy. I was being spiritually attacked, and that's why I'm going to blame the spiritual attack. It wasn't me. I actually wasn't wrong. I mean, it was wrong what I did, but I was under a spiritual attack, so it's kind of like I was possessed by the devil, and that's why I pushed the child and made him pee. But I didn't make him pee because I never said that. Oh, sorry. Here's tape. And then this. Why would Maria Mesa, the woman that got expedited asylum, or her foundation, or anybody associated with her page, repost Paloma for Trump? Look at that picture. This is a Paloma for Trump post that says she is a Mexican and American and loves Trump. It doesn't say Maria Mesa Foundation reposting the picture of the horrible, threatening, dangerous Trump supporter that got us into this country.
Exactly.
Does she say anything about how this woman threatened her? Does the foundation say anything about it when they post it? No. They just post a pro-Paloma propaganda.
Wow.
Things that make you go, So many things and so many more. Because believe it or not, there is a treasure trove of information headed our way of stuff, more incriminating things about Paloma Zuniga, aka Paloma for Trump. So stay tuned, and keep exposing, keep sending that information our way. And as always, I am so grateful for every single one of you who has been watching us and listening and sharing tonight. Thanks for being with the Mexican Crossing Lines with yours truly, Cindy Gomez-Schempp.
And Duke Gomez-Schempp, and thank you for your support.
You've been listening to 88.1 FM, KPPPLP Fargo Moorhead.